The text you provided is a fascinating, intense piece of writing, largely inspired by the philosophy of Niccolò Machiavelli, particularly on the intersection of strategy, action, and wealth. Here is the English translation, with the desired characters at the end of each sentence. Most people believe that wealth belongs to intelligence, to diplomas, to titles, to innate brilliance. But the truth is different. Fortune belongs to strategic awareness. Machiavelli's words are still valid. Fortune smiles upon the one who walks with purpose. Not by lineage, not by the past, but by the one who takes action. From the outside, most stories of wealth are explained by extraordinary intelligence. But a closer look shows that the one who sees the game and makes the move wins. Not the genius, but the one who stays on the field. Strategy eats intelligence for breakfast. Those who pretend to be smart drown in risk calculations. They can't take action while weighing endless possibilities. But the brave and methodical one moves forward consciously, not blindly. Machiavelli's question is simple. Does this move destroy me? If the answer is no, one continues. Modern education still sustains its biggest fallacy. It teaches analysis, but forgets to incite action. Yet, wealth finds the one who takes the step. The one who enters the field wins, while the others are still weighing their options. You don't have to be a genius to be rich. You have to stay in the game long enough, patient enough, until you accumulate strategic leverage, skills, relationships, time. Wealth often doesn't shine. It grows in silence, through long winters. Look at the irony. Most people who are too smart become paralyzed. They can't walk from thinking too much. They can't leave the harbor when they see the storm. Yet, Machiavelli's advice is clear. Act. Act, even if you regret it. Because hesitation strengthens time. And time devours everyone. The common factor of true successes is not intelligence. It is emotional resilience. This is often a belief that seems foolish. The belief to endure, to not give up. What brings wealth is not brilliant ideas, but continuing despite shame, trouble, and failure. Intelligence alone is powerless without action. Sometimes it's necessary to appear naive, but there is nothing more valuable than being active without ever stopping. Machiavelli saw it. People weigh the appearance, not the essence. This rule still works. Look self-assured. Remain consistent. Produce value over time. The world first accepts you. Then it truly believes in you. This is why the question to ask is this: Am I smart? No. While others doubt, give up, overthink. Will I be able to remain in action? Money flows not to the knowledgeable, but to the risk-taker. Wealth doesn't come in a straight line. It accumulates. It grows in silence. Then it suddenly captures the stage with bursts. The one who cannot endure the desert cannot reach the oasis. Most people expect immediate returns for their effort. But in the real world, labor is a deferred currency. Effort given today pays off tomorrow or next year. There are many stories. Ventures on the brink of failure suddenly skyrocket. Income jumps from zero to millions. Because the one who can endure wins. The one who can carry the silence, who does not abandon patience. This was Machiavelli's truth about power. The one who controls time controls the outcome. But most people consume their patience by seeking early approval. If you can delay the reward, your rivals, enemies, and even friends will eliminate themselves. Discipline is a self-eliminating weapon. It has been seen repeatedly. The one who wants wealth must endure a lack of applause. And few achieve this, because remaining unseen is hard for them. But wealth is built in the dark. It emerges with a shock. Accumulation is not the goal of wealth. It is the purchase of time. The person who pays off their debt and sets aside funds does it not for wealth, but for courage. Because when basic life is secure, big moves are made without hunger. The one who doesn't worry about their stomach takes risks. And risk opens the doors of empires. Accumulation doesn't make you a billionaire, but it gives you air. With this air, you can conquer the field. Most people think they need more money, but they actually need more courage. Machiavelli says all roads are risky. The smart one chooses the least dangerous one. But the greatest danger is wasting your life in the job you thought was safe. Your potential shrinks as years go by. The passive income fable also deceives many for this reason. Yet, the truth is this: passive income is not passive. It is the reward of active skill. Investment is not a shortcut, it is the second game. First, you learn to earn, then to preserve and multiply. The one who skips pays a price. Every investment still requires skill. Reading risk, understanding the market, negotiating. Money doesn't work for you unless you work. Why can't most people make an exit? Because they chase the dream of effortless wealth. But Machiavelli reminds us, fortune is a woman. She turns to the brave, not with goodwill, not with empty hopes, but with strategic courage. And the world doesn't pay for intention. Only the pain you solve, the value you produce, the structure you build, forcibly brings you money. And here is the real breaking point. Money chases value, not effort. People can work all day, toil all night. But if the work they present can be easily replaced, they stay in the same place. But the one who solves what others cannot moves to a different economy. Excellence is like gravity. If it's truly good, customers and money gather around it. Machiavelli knew fame is a sharper weapon than an army. Honor comes with the man, not the title. It is necessary to produce evidence, concrete transformations, results that cannot be ignored. And when the market sees you as the solution, you no longer run, they come to you. Money always flows where there is value. Wealth is always measured by value, not by knowledge. The world rewards results, not intentions. Most people work until morning, turning night into day. But if the work they present can be easily replaced, all that labor flows away. The real difference emerges in those who do irreplaceable work. The one who solves what others have not, the one who risks what others dare not, that person moves into a different game. Excellence is like gravity, invisible but irresistible. The truly good attracts money and people, even unintentionally. As Machiavelli pointed out, reputation is sharper than the sword. Fame overcomes even an army, because people believe what they see. And what is visible always dominates. Therefore, the main issue for the person pursuing wealth is this: am I producing evidence? The world values proven transformations, not advertising. It is important not to market a product, but to change lives with that product. When the results are too clear to be ignored, demand explodes on its own. Money always finds the place where there is value. But there is a critical distinction here. Value is not created only by production. Value is measured by the elimination of pain, eliminating the things people hate, solving the troubles they can't bear, removing the obstacles they can't tolerate. That is where real wealth is born. The difference between a good product and a great product is not the benefit it provides, but the magnitude of the pain it removes. When a problem too deep for people to ignore is solved, the market submits to it. Machiavelli said this for princes: the way to maintain power is to eliminate your rivals. The same rule applies in business. Successful products slowly consume their rivals. True wealth is born from solutions that leave no alternatives. That's why the fundamental question should always be, what pain am I solving? Who else is solving it? And how can I do it faster, cheaper, more definitively? If this question is a little frightening, you are on the right track. Because great wealth is born not from those who solve small problems, but from those who target big troubles. The journey to wealth is layered. Initially, small problems are solved. Neighborhood troubles, local needs. Then, as the level rises, the size of the problems grows. Global difficulties, billion-dollar systems. And with every new step, the reward increases exponentially. But no one can start from the top. Everyone starts from the bottom with invisible work. By solving simple problems, slowly accumulating reputation. And every new level makes the person more intimidating, more effective. Wealth is not the money earned, but the measure of the power gained. Because power comes with the magnitude of the problem. The one who solves small matters lives small. The one who solves big matters lives big. But every new step requires more resilience, more patience, more strategic consistency. And the main issue is daring to be overlooked. Because real wealth is built when the stage lights are off. Machiavelli's warning applies here too. Success often begins with appearance. The self-confident, consistent, step-by-step advancing person eventually convinces the crowds. But convincing the crowds is not the hardest part. The hardest part is convincing oneself. To be able to continue when you are unseen, unheard. Because this game is a long silence. A long drought. The one who walks in the desert eventually reaches the oasis. The one who can't endure gets lost in the sand. And here is the most painful truth. Most people can't endure the silence. They can't tolerate a lack of applause. They can't accept remaining unseen. That's why they lose. Because wealth first grows in the shadows. Then it suddenly astounds the world. Saving is a misunderstood word. Accumulation doesn't make anyone rich. But it buys time. Accumulation is oxygen. It is room to breathe. The person who meets their basic needs and conquers the fear of hunger plays more bravely on the field. The one who has nothing to lose can dare to make big moves. Saving is not what makes you a billionaire. But without saving, the big game cannot be set up. Because the move of the hungry is always shaky. Wealth is born from the courage of the non-hungry. Most people think they need more money. Yet the real need is for more courage. Machiavelli says, every road is risky. But the real risk is to waste your life on the road you thought was safe. That's why the biggest enemy on the path to wealth is comfort. Comfort slowly chains you. And chains grow heavy unnoticed. Comfort is an invisible shackle. And most people spend their entire lives with this shackle without realizing it. The passive income fable is also made from the same chain. The idea of easy money is the sweetest illusion. Yet in reality, passive income is the product of active mastery. It doesn't come without effort. It doesn't work without experience. Every investment requires labor. Reading risk, understanding the market, negotiating. Investment is just like war. The one who enters the field unprepared loses. That's why there is no such thing as a shortcut. First, you learn to earn, then to preserve, then to multiply. When steps are skipped, the price is heavy. And most people pay this price. Because they still believe in miracles. Still in easy earnings, but as Machiavelli reminded us, fortune belongs to courage, not to dreams. The world doesn't pay for intention. It submits to the strong, to the strategic one, not the kind-hearted. That's why the right question is always this. How good am I? No. How many problems am I solving? How much pain am I eliminating? And how many people's eyes am I doing this in front of? The answers to these questions determine wealth. Money chases value, not effort. Most people forget this. They work day and night, toil, sweat. But if what they present can be easily replaced, it becomes worthless. The real economy opens up to those who do irreplaceable work. The problem is, most people look at others. They count what others earn. They abandon their own path, become enslaved by envy. But this mindset is the chain of poverty. Because someone else's wealth is not an obstacle to your wealth. The world is not a zero-sum game. Machiavelli's warning is sharp again. People believe in appearance more than truth. The one who judges a deal by feeling, who decides by emotion rather than numbers, loses. Because the sense of justice is not the language of the economy. The best deals are those that make all parties feel they have won. The true wealth mindset sees competition not as an enemy, but as an opportunity. A king doesn't count the wealth of others. He looks to expand his land, because his power increases as his land grows. One of the big fallacies is this belief. First you must believe, then you will succeed. Yet life shows the opposite. Most people wait to trust themselves to take action. Yet confidence comes after action. Wealth is born not by saying to yourself, "I can do it," but by starting to do it. Because behavior transforms the mindset. In Machiavelli's view, power is not desired, it is taken by force. So is wealth. Because the truth is this: the world doesn't care about intentions. Good thoughts satisfy no one. Only action produces results. You don't get rich with books, dreams, or wishes. Belief without action is an empty echo. But every step, no matter how small, rewrites the mindset. And the sum of these steps carries a person to another level. That's why the question to ask is not, "Do I believe?" It is, "Am I moving?" The harshest law of life is that you don't get rich without producing value. Money only flows to where the solution is. The one who solves the pain people can't bear, the one who provides the pleasure people long to reach, that person collects the wealth. Machiavelli's words to the princes should be remembered. Power is maintained by eliminating rivals. It's the same in business. A good product is not enough. A product that renders rivals insignificant is needed. And this game is full, not only of gain, but also of loss. Because every wrong move exacts a price. But here is the paradox: the one who is not ready to lose is not ready to win either. The one who doesn't risk small losses never sees big gains. Most people avoid low-status jobs for fear of their pride being hurt. But the real journey to wealth begins at the bottom, with humility. Because every small job is an entry ticket to the field. And without that ticket, the upper steps are invisible. Machiavelli said, "It is safer to be feared than loved." He said this for power. But it has a valid dimension for wealth too. The one who is not afraid of comfort, who is not afraid of misery. That is, the person who endures pain eventually gains power. Because the real fear is not starting with low jobs. The real fear is never starting to act. Poverty is not a destiny. But remaining there is a strategic mistake. Another trap is comparison. As a person sees what others earn, they forget their own path. They look at others' lives on social media, feeling inner anger. Yet this anger steals their attention. When attention is stolen, wealth slips away too. The king doesn't count his enemy's treasure. He prepares his army, expands his border. Real strategy is to look ahead. That's why focus is the most valuable currency. And envy is the heaviest tax on this money. The most common mistake made by those seeking wealth is getting too caught up in the mindset game. First, feel rich, then you will be rich. Yet history writes the opposite. Wealth is born with actions, not with feelings. The one who acts without self-confidence eventually gains confidence. Because a person builds their own belief with their behavior. Machiavelli says power is never given, it is always taken. Likewise, wealth is never gifted, it is taken. That's why one must go out to the field instead of burying oneself in books. One must try instead of dreaming. Because the one who doesn't cut wood doesn't get warm. One gets warm by making a fire, not by reading about fire. The most important test in the pursuit of wealth is the continuity of action. Because every step is a vote cast for the future. Every action taken, no matter how small, determines tomorrow's identity. And here is the greatest fallacy, that good intentions will be enough. Yet the world doesn't pay for intention. It submits only to concrete solutions, to undeniable value. Fortuna, or fortune, as Machiavelli said, is a woman. And she submits to the brave one. Not the one who dreams, not the one who hopes. To the one who makes a move, who acts strategically, who endures pain. That's why the summary of the path is clear. Wealth comes with action, not intention. Fortune is built with patience, not ease. Power grows by expanding your own land, not by counting others. And the hardest truth is, this game shows no mercy to anyone. The world pays only when it is forced to produce value. In the end, the winner is not the brightest intelligence, but the one who endures the most, the one who makes the most strategic moves.